Hello, and welcome to Macro Discovery Program. This program is designed for people who just want to know more about macrobiotics and what is kind of system is macrobiotics, how it can help people with health problems or healing or just create a happier and better life. So let's get started. And we begin with the first session, Harmonizing with Nature. Let me minimize my picture. And let me go back to presentation. So the very first session is titled Harmonizing with Nature. Let's discuss what's going to be covered in the course. All 8 sessions are really touching up on vital topics, vital to understanding and practicing macrobiotics. The very first, Harmonizing with Nature, I choose that one because it's so important to organize and to be in the right lifestyle before even talking about the food or health. Health's not going to be created if you destroy your lifestyle, if you're not harmonizing with nature. And then we're going to discuss wisdom of life energy. Those are famous yin and yang energy that create qi, the energy of life. We're going to talk about getting started in session 3, how to get started with macrobiotics, practical advices in session 4, how to organize your life, how to do shopping, how to cook, how to do everything. And then session 5, acid and alkaline, extremely important topic. Being acidic, meaning being sick, being alkaline, means being healthy. Let's figure it out. And then we discuss 2 major systems that create health or destroy health, immune and digestive systems. 5-element theory is a session 7 that puts it all together as a theoretical background to understand all the relationships you're involved with. And session 8 is Oriental diagnosis. We'll diagnose ourselves. We figure out how we know we're sick or healthy by just looking at our face, hands, bodies, certain symptoms that really going to help us to understand health issues. So let's get started. Some time ago, I created a website, elizabethsker.com. You can see it here. And I posted a lot of information about macrobiotic right there. So starting macrobiotics help you to get started with it, gives you all the information you need to get started and understand macrobiotic. But most importantly, I wrote the book, Practical Macrobiotics. My site is bilingual. It's in Russian and in English. So choose the language you prefer. And books is also written in English and in Russian. So choose the book you prefer to read. And I would encourage you to look at it because it also has a lot of interesting examples and suggestions and explanation. So please use that website to your advantage, and everything is free there, so enjoy it. And we're going to start with Dan's story. I love starting it because it set up the mood and understanding of what required to understand, to get into Eastern philosophy and mentality. Nan-in, a Japanese master during the Meiji era, received a university professor who came to inquire about Zen. Nan-in served tea. He poured his visitor's cup full and then kept on pouring. The professor watched the overflow until he no longer could restrain himself. It's overfull, no more will go in. Like this cup, Nan-in said, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup? it's such a nice story. It gives you an idea that as much as you want to learn on new things, we still hold on to old beliefs and knowledges. And maybe going into macrobiotics and discovering what I'm going to share with you, you need to empty your cup. You need to get that information. You need not to compare, not to fight with it, but open your mind, open your heart, and listen and accept and ask questions, of course. So, how you maintain physical health? We all know that it's based on regular physical activity, very good nutrition, meaning food, eating well, and adequate rest. Healthy lifestyle not only changes your body, it changes your mind, your attitude, and your mood. So maintaining that seems easy, right? We're being active, we eat good food, we sleep at night, so what else needs to be there? Do we do it correctly? Do we do it the way that maintains, support, and help the health? So why harmony with nature? Look how beautiful the nature is. Look how everything fits into this nature without fighting it, just accepting it, just being there. Not every day is as beautiful as this picture, but it doesn't matter what the picture is. It's important that the nature not fighting for itself. It just accepts whenever there. And we're part of that nature. We need to cooperate with it. We need to live in a harmony with it. Then the health is going to be more prominent. One of the men that I met personally and was really impressed by his presentation and him as personality with a lot of amazing streaming and energy coming out of him. Look at his eyes. He really says that we produce societies with all major conveniences, and those conveniences gradually and slowly, sometimes faster than we wanted to, start killing us because we forgot how to do things by ourselves. We rely on conveniences provided for us. So we evolve as a whole system, being a part of our solar system, our galaxy, universe, and to maintain our health, we need to be in sync. We need to be synchronized. We need to be in balance with that whole system. But today we ignore it, trying to live the way we want, trying to change the weather, especially that Western mentality where we going to be changing the world around us. And Eastern, let's learn, let's understand, let's adjust to it. So yes, macrobiotic based on Eastern philosophy and principle. So let's move forward with that. So we're part of the huge universe, and that universe is enormous, infinite. No matter how you look at it, we're a tiny little part of the whole universe. On the planet Earth, we call it Earth. Whoever created that whole thing may call it differently. And what we're trying to do, to change it for our conveniences, for our desires, for our what we want to achieve the most in our life. And if you go even further into micro world, it's also infinite. No matter how deep you get into tiny little particles that we consist of, it's still a huge open space to go to further. So what people notice that our Earth, our planet Earth, rotates around sun. And those rotations and Earth's rotation around the axis also created a very interesting effect, changing seasons, creating equinoxes and solstices, four major places of Earth that the climate drastically changes. And total rotation around the sun takes about 365 days, sometimes 366 days. And each rotation around axis of the Earth takes 24 hours. So putting it all together, we created a calendar where we know for a fact, it's like the law of nature. If you live in temperate climate, the seasons will be changing. And there are two major seasons. Cold season, winter, and hot season, summer. And two seasons where the weather changes. It's a spring and fall. So divided equally for 12 months. Each month is divided into weeks. So that nature has a rhythm. The Earth rotating around sun, there's actually rotating, spinning around axis and changing the time, always predictable, always on a schedule, created rhythms of nature. Noticing those rhythms, Chinese people being so creative and so observant and so into documenting things for hundreds and thousands of years, they noticed that those energies between winter and summer, not stable energies, they're always changing one into another, unpredictable rhythmic schedule, and depicted it in this kind of like circle where you see white part of it is summertime, dominated by sun and hot water, and dark side is a winter time, dominated by moon and cold mountains. So out of those two noticeable energies changing one into another, Chinese created that amazing symbol, yin and yang symbol, yin yang. They're not separate, they're together. Together they create what it called wholeness. It's a oneness also sometimes called, but they are very different and antagonistic and complementary to each other. One does not exist without another. We know about yang because there is yin. We know about winter because there is a summer. We know about happiness because there's maybe unhappiness. We know about health because there is sickness. We know daytime because there is a nighttime. So there are always two major forces. There are many other little forces between them, but two major forces, yang and yin, that created everything around us. Between two of them, there's a one energy called qi or prana or life force or жизненная энергия in Russian, coming out and really created life on Earth. So those yin and yang energies are true to the whole universe. It's not just for planet Earth. It's applied to everywhere, to micro world, atoms and molecules, to universe, galaxies, ever-expanding universe. Those two energies created everything. And you can break down either macrocosmos or microcosmos into two antagonistic and complementary energies, where one does not exist without another. So what does it mean actually? It means a symbol of harmony. This is the ancient symbol of harmony. It's harmoniously put together. They're constantly changing one into another, but they're harmonious. They're in a circle. They're not in some unbelievable shape. It's a harmony depicted by the circle. And that life is a balance of opposite forces and in constant flux. Whenever you see, whenever you know is life, is living, it always has those two forces, which are changing one into another constantly. As a matter of fact, it's never been a single moment where you either totally young or totally yin. They're always in everything. The two of them exist, but one of them dominates. So you could be more young than yin at some point in time, or more yin than yang in another point in time. So how did they notice it? Just watching the nature, watching the sun changes position in the sky, and realizing how much the temperature changes because of that. Looking into hills and fields and mountains and growing plants. The Chinese developed that amazing idea about two major antagonistic and complementary forces. But not only that, it's interesting that Chinese also, by the way, instead of 4 seasons, we're talking about now 5 seasons. Chinese chop a little bit of from the fall and summer time and created what it called late summer, because it changes so much from the hot season of summer into cooler autumn or fall season. So they call it late summer or Indian summer in America, or Papye Leto in Russian, right? So all those seasons changing one into another constantly from winter. And we know it for a fact, no matter how much we're in the winter right now, this moment, in February 20th, it's going to be springtime. We know that. That's how nature works. During springtime, we enjoy the warmer climate, the warmer weather, the better being outdoors and starting doing new things. Spring is like new things springing on us, right? Or out of us. Or we want to start something, create something new. And out of spring comes summer. After summer comes late summer, and then autumn, fall season, and winter again. And it's going on and on and on for millions and billions, probably, of years. Interesting that inside of each season, of course, yin and yang changes also one into another all the time. Beginning of spring is different than end of spring. It's not exactly one particular energy during the whole 3 months of spring or summer or winter. Each one of them changes into another slowly, gradually, but surely. But look at the day. We start in the morning, springtime. We go up, we get up, we go about our businesses. We're creating, we started something. In the noon, which is more like a hot time of the day, corresponds to summer. The energy changes. Then from noon, it goes into afternoon, where energy changes again, going down, slowing. The time is not slowing, but the energy does. And then from afternoon goes into evening, night, sleeping, relaxing, and in the morning we get up again. Again, the rhythm of those changes. We know it for a fact, for sure. We know exactly when the sun rises and when the sun sets. And our goal, and what macrobiotics teaches us, is we need to actually follow that rhythm. We need to follow that change, because if we don't, we destroy our health. Because the health is going to be in only if we're in balance with those changes in energies. And each one of them also, hold on, go back. Each one of those times of the day also have energies changing. So if you start morning at 7:30 in the morning, it's not the same morning at 11. It changes more into yang. So it starts like more yin, going up into hotter part of the day, changing into yang, and then yang staying a little bit at the noon, and then start turning into yin and going more yin into the night, when we get more rest and we sleep at night, and then it starts over again. Those two energies changing one into another constantly. Notice that within the yin, a white part of the symbol, there's a black dot. And within yang, a white part of the symbol, there's a black dot. And within yin, black part of the symbol, there's a white dot. It's just telling you that at the most extreme situation with yang, when yang becomes really big, see how big it is on the top right there, on the top of yang, there's a little yin started growing, and then growing more, becoming larger and larger, becoming really big, and then yang is born inside. So yin converted to yang, yang converted to yin. It's an interesting idea of energies changing one into another in everything and anything we do, in living things, and supporting the change, not going against it, not telling the change that forget it. It's an evening time, but I want to get up. I don't want to go to bed. Not going to help. You have to follow it. You have to be part of that particular law of nature. Every organ inside of our body is created by actually also following the rhythm and law of nature. You may sit there and think, I'm gonna, you know what, I don't like kidneys being there. I'm gonna change my kidneys. I'm gonna move them to another place. Not gonna work. We know that, right? Or I don't want a heart work that way. I want a heart move here. Yeah. That's how we created, like the whole universe is created. Can we support our vital organs, major organs, or all of the organs, the way that it creates health? Of course, we're going to die. Of course, it's going to be worn out, and at some point in time, they won't be able to work. But providing to each organ maximum energy throughout the day, throughout the seasons, throughout the year, the whole year, is what the goal is. More energy you provide for each organ at the right time of the day and right season, the right energy, healthier you're going to be. By the way, food is also energy. We're not looking at a food from caloric point of view. Food is energy supply for us. So food, air, everything around us provides us with energy or takes away energy. So what Chinese created, what it's called 24-hour circadian clock. according to traditional Chinese medicine, and sometimes abbreviated as TCM. So many other, not only Chinese, but so many other traditions in Asia, vital energy flows through the 12 organs and completes one cycle every 24 hours. So interesting. So every 24 hours, we have certain energy coming through our body. And let's discuss it. Let's look what kind of energy going through which major organ. So black dots represent, you got it, yin quality, yin energy, and white dots, yang energy, which are changing. See inside of the circle, that symbol of energies changing one into another. The same is outside. Look at the clock, it's 24-hour clock. So how does it work? We have major organs. Look at those major organs, liver, gallbladder, they are paired organs. One of them yang, another yin. So the first one, the first organ, like liver is yang, gallbladder is yin organ. They involve in distribute energy in your body. Lung, yang organ, large intestine, yin organ, excretion and inhalation. They're connected to each other. If one destroys, another is destroyed. Spleen, stomach, storage of energy. Heart, small intestine, where heart is yang, small intestine is yin. Quality of the blood. Small intestine build the quality, heart is pumping the blood. Small intestine build the blood, and heart is pumping the blood. And kidney, bladder. Kidney being yang organ, and bladder is yin, purifying, taking away all the toxins from our body. So looking at the clock starting, let's say at 11 or 23 hour, gallbladder start detoxifying itself, cleansing itself. It's a yin energy. And it does for 2 hours, from 11 at night till 12 midnight till 1 in the morning. And at 1, liver gets the most energy, and liver detoxifying itself from 1 to 3, where it energy moves to lung. The most energy moves to lung. Lung detoxifying itself from 3 to 5. And then at 5, large intestine began working and doing its job, excretion, right? Lung, large intestine. Lung is yang organ, white, and large intestine, yin organ, black. And then at 7, stomach began working, which is a yang energy, working for 2 hours. And then moving, energy moves, the most energy moves to spleen, pancreas. From spleen, pancreas combination. Spleen, pancreas, even though we in the Western medicine are 2 separate organs, in Chinese medicine, it's 1 organ considered, 1 organ. And at 11 in the morning, heart starts working and get the most energy at 11 a.m. At 1 p.m., 13-hour, small intestine. At 3 o'clock, bladder, which is yin energy, moving to kidneys, right, into yang energy. At 5 o'clock, at 7, pericardium, we're going to talk about it. I explain what it is later. And then sun jiao, another type of, it's not an organ, but it's function, and you're going to see it in a moment. So what I'm trying to show here is that the energy goes through this organ and that time of the day the most. let's say heart, at 11 in the morning, the energy, most energy is 11 in the morning passing through heart. Right across at 23 at 11 at night, the least amount of energy passed to the heart, the least. The same is true for every organ, like bladder. The most energy going into bladder at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the least energy going to bladder at 3 in the morning. The same with the kidneys. The most energy passing kidneys, come to kidneys from the universe, is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 17th hour. And the least energy going to kidneys at 5 in the morning. That's how Chinese created circadian clock. Now, when you think about it, how would you apply it into your life? What do you do throughout the day? Your liver won't be able to detoxify itself if you're not in a deep sleep. Because if you're not sleeping, if you're eating or the food passing by and not digested yet, the liver cannot detoxify itself. And you cannot wake up in the morning refreshed and full of energy and start a new day. You're going to feel sluggish, tired, fatigued throughout the day. You're not going to be thinking straight. Your intuition not going to work properly. But to be in a deep sleep, you need to be in bed by 23 hours, 11 in the evening. So gallbladder starts detoxifying itself. And by the time it's done, it passes baton to the liver. You need to be in deep sleep at that time. The most important sleep at night, like deep sleep, comes between 1 and 5. Anytime between 1 and 5, it's good to have deep sleep. I don't know if you have, I use Fitbit, and I do know how I sleep through night and what happens with me throughout the day. And getting 2 hours of deep sleep through the night, it's a big achievement, believe me. Usually 30 minutes to an hour, and between 1 and 5. But I got it to 2 hours, so I'm very happy about it. So following that, circadian clock will help you to understand what you need to do at what hour. So when do you think you should have a breakfast in the morning? What would be the best time? The best time would be while stomach has the most energy, between 7 and 9. And the large intestine freed itself from toxins and empty, because it had the bowel movement before 7, and it has to go like that every single morning. Then you are getting the most energy out of the universe. And your body has the most energy supply. That once you eat your breakfast, then remember what spleen does? Storage. It got the energy from stomach being processing the food, creating energy and storing it in spleen. That's the time where your brain works the best. The best morning meetings with people, the best thing to schedule to do brain work is between 9 and 11. If you need to schedule a meeting, which is you need to pick people's brain, you need to them to think creatively, it's between 9 and 11. Of course, later in the day, need to be done, but people not gonna feel that creative, or the brain work not gonna be that great. When do you have lunch? Before the small intestine starts passing most energy. Why? Because that's when blood is created. So the best time for lunch between 11 and 1 in the afternoon. That's the time where a small intestine began working, has more energy, and creates the blood. We don't want to eat too much, I would say, non-energetic food, something that takes away the energy. We want a more energized food, food that gives the warmth to the body and helps the heart to function better. We're definitely going to talk about it. And then bladder starts, what the major function of bladder kidneys? Purifying. So from all the food you ate in the morning, bladder and kidney began working, purifying your body from acidity. So if you ate a lot of acidic food, a lot of acidic food exists in this country, especially in the fast food area. So bladder and kidney are gonna overwork. But it's better if you eat and get used to it. It's better you eat it at lunch because that's the most energy bladder and kidney gets. Then in the evening before you go to bed, because that's the least energy bladder and kidneys have, and they cannot purify the blood. They cannot get rid of toxins, and the toxins stay in the body. Now, let's discuss what pericardium and Sanjiao, which are very important. So pericardium is like a sac where your heart is located. It protects the heart from pathogens invading your heart and your mind. So it protects the heart. And we know because we rarely hear about heart cancer, for example. If pericardium works well, it protects the heart beautifully. Unfortunately, it cannot protect from arteries problems. It's the food you eat, but pathogens not going to get through the heart. To the heart. Protect the mind, provides blood circulation to the heart. What else is here? I think that's the most important function. They're the most important function of pericardium. What Sanjiao is another very interesting thing. Our body is divided into 3 major areas. It's called triple heater, triple burner. Those areas where energy stays and heat should not invade from one area to another. So the kidneys, intestine, and bladder has one area. If it created the heat, it shouldn't go into liver, spleen, stomach, and pancreas to the middle area. It should stay where it is. But if liver creates the heat, it shouldn't go into heart and lung. And you know, sometimes people feel too much heat in their head, or especially women in certain ages. So it's because the heat cannot retain in places because liver doesn't function well and triple heater doesn't work well. So the time for triple heater is 9 o'clock in the evening. That's the time where you're not exercising like crazy. You don't do anything extreme. You're winding down. You prepare to go to bed. You read the book. You drink a cup of tea if you can, because at a certain age, you better not to eat or drink anything after 7 p.m. That's the best time, actually, to preserve your triple heater. So, putting it all together, here is the circadian clock put together by Jane Bartholomew. You can find it on Google, you can Google it. And you can actually see the suggested activities throughout the day. Of course, you can do whenever you need to do and how you need to do, but those are suggested activities throughout the day. Take a good look at it. Let me move my picture out, up, so you can see the whole chart better, and try to follow it. Stay on this slide for as long as you need to study it. Now we have kind of like tea break. So we finished part 1 of the first session, and we're going to start with part 2 right after that. What I recommend, since you were sitting in front of a computer listening, brain worked, you read a lot, maybe you stand up, do a little bit of stretches, walk around, stretch your legs, have a cup of tea, like I said, and enjoy a little bit time off, and then come back and finish it as a part 2 of the first session. Please let me know if you have any questions, and if you like to ask specific questions regarding your particular situation, you know where to ask and where to write. You have my emails, you have my phone, you have, you're part of macro discovery group where you can have a question, maybe other people be interested to see them and to find the answers. So enjoy and see you soon in the part 2. Bye-bye. See you soon.